Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is December 20th, 2024, and today we're going to be talking about Hansi Flick's pre-match press conference ahead of tomorrow's big match against Atletico de Madrid. Also, Raphinha has given an impressive interview to ESPN ahead of tomorrow's match. And of course, we're going to cover the Brazilians' words. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and tomorrow is the big day as Barcelona are set to face off against Atletico de Madrid at the Wanda Metropolitana. As you already know, Barcelona are currently tied in points with Atletico Madrid at the top of La Liga table. So tomorrow will determine whether Barcelona become the sole leaders of the Spanish league or whether Atletico Madrid will surpass Barcelona. Now, tomorrow's match is going to be a difficult and challenging one for Barcelona because Barcelona will be facing off against the most informed team in Europe's top 5 leagues with 11 consecutive victories. Now, of course, Atletico Madrid are trying to beat their own record of 13 consecutive wins in their club history. So hopefully Barcelona will prevent them from achieving that record and will take home a very important win. Now, tomorrow's clash will mean that the best attack in La Liga will be facing off against the best defense because Barcelona currently have the most scored goals in the Spanish league at 50. Meanwhile, Atletico Madrid have conceded the least amount of goals in La Liga with only 11 goals conceded. So definitely a difficult and challenging match for Barcelona tomorrow, but hopefully we'll take home the 3 important points and we'll take home a very important victory. But of course, I'm curious to hear you guys' predictions. Let me know down below in the comment section, who do you think is going to win and what's going to be the scoreline. Now, of course, as always, Hansi Flick participated in the pre-match press conference where the first thing he was asked was Barcelona's predicament, where they have only collected 5 points in the last 6 matches, and this is what Flick had to say about Barcelona's dip in form. We started the project, and on December 20th, we are first in La Liga and second in the Champions League. We have lost several points, and it was a shame because we should have won against Las Palmas and Leganés. Respect for them because they played better, and we have to accept that. Tomorrow, we have the chance to prove ourselves again. We are a young team, and we have to improve. We will fight until the end of the season. We have done things well, but it is not easy. Tomorrow we have another chance to do well against a great team. So Hansi Flick reminding everyone that this is still a new project. So of course there's going to be, dips and forms. Of course there's going to be bumps along the road. However, despite this bump, Flick reminding everyone we're still first in La Liga. We're still second in the Champions League. So not all is lost. We still have the remainder of the season to continue fighting and, of course, competing for all titles. Now, Hansi Flick was asked, of course, about the big topic, which is Lamine Yamal's injury, because it will mean that Lamine will not be available in tomorrow's match. And this is what the German had to say. We have to accept this injury and that he is not available. We have several options to replace him, but we haven't decided yet. So again, Flick, saying, well, he's injured. We have to accept that. There's not much we could do. So instead, we got to look for a solution. We got to look who to replace him. And of course, there are plenty of options, or at least that's what Flick is saying, but that he has not decided yet. And of course, there's been a lot of reports saying that Flick has opted for Ferran Torres, but of course, we're going to have to wait and see who does Hansi Flick replace Lamine Yamal with in tomorrow's match. Now, Flick was asked about the 2-day rest that he gave his team after that Leganés defeat, which apparently caused a lot of hype because people were like, oh my God, what if Flick is doing? Why is he, giving the team 2 days off when he should be punishing them? And of course, I said that was ridiculous. The team needed rest. You have to rest them. That was not a reward for losing. That was something necessary. And this is what Flick had to say. Sometimes you make these decisions when we look back, we had no rest. We needed to clear our heads, and we think it was a good decision. We've been training very well since then. So I think it was a good decision. So again, Flick pretty much saying what I had said previously, that the team needed rest. The team had just played against Dortmund, which was a very difficult match. The team had trained every single day of that week in order to prepare for Dortmund and for Leganés, so they needed rest. That's why Flick gave the team 2 days off. It wasn't a reward for losing or for playing horribly against Leganés. It was something that the team needed, because if you don't rest your players, they get injured. If your players are injured, it only makes things worse. Now, finally, Hansi Flick was asked about the team's dynamics going into tomorrow's match, and this is what the Barcelona coach had to say. We have lost great players, and we only signed Olmo and Pau Victor. The team is growing a lot, and in the end, we are not happy with the situation of the club, but we will fight until the end. It is not easy, but we want to win all the titles, and this starts with winning tomorrow. So Hansi Flick, in here, I want you to pay attention to this change in rhetoric, change in tone, because remember, the last few coaches we had, Xavi Hernandez, Ronald Koeman, used to say, well, this is what we got, so don't expect anything because, we don't have money to sign players. We can't reinforce the squad, so it is what it is. But here Flick's saying, look, would I want to sign players? Would I want the club to be better financially? Of course. But this is what we have, and therefore we got to work with what we have. We're going to fight, and we're going to try to win all the titles possible. So definitely a change in mentality where Flick, he knows he's been played, he's been given not necessarily the best hand of cards, but saying, hey, you got to play what you're dealt versus just saying, my hand is crappy, so I'm just not even going to try. Anyways, let's talk now about Coutinho's interview, because the Brazilian, gave an interview to ESPN where he was asked about Barcelona's dip in form and what was the reason behind that dip in form. And this is what the Barcelona captain had to say. It's down to us. We have been bad. We have dropped our level. Maybe we have lacked concentration in moments, and it's cost us. And tiredness as well. If I tell you we weren't tired in certain games when we dropped points, I would be lying. So tiredness, I think, is the biggest factor, but we have also dropped our level. So very important words by Raphinha, admitting that the reason why the team has lost points, it's not because the refs, it's not because the sun, the grass, the weather, the calendar. It's because the team has dropped in form. And this is very important because here we need self-reflection. If we want to improve, we got to first analyze what went wrong. We have to admit it went wrong and then find ways to fix it. If you try to blame your mistakes on external factors, you're never going to improve, because if it's not your fault, how you're going to fix it? You can't. And therefore, you are bound to repeat the same mistakes. So very important words by the Barcelona captain, admitting that the team has dropped level, and that's very, very important in order to fix what's going on. Now, next, Raphinha, of course, expresses optimism that things will change, and this is what the Brazilian had to say. Yes, we will come through this. I have a tattoo that says everything passes, meaning the bad moments pass and the good ones too. So it's going to pass. We are doing good. We had a good moment at the start of the season. Entered a bad moment, and that will pass. That's life. It's how football is, and life is also the same. So Raphinha, being optimistic that yes, the team right now is going through a tough time, but believing that things will change and the team will go back to, previous dynamic of doing well. And while hopefully that's what happens, because, batches happens to all teams. All teams drop in form. But the important thing is that as long as that drop in form is, temporary for a short period of time, it's fine. The problem is when that drop in form becomes, over a very long period of time. That's when the problem really occurs. Now, finally, Raphinha was asked, what does the team have to do in order to end this bad streak? And this is what the Brazilian had to say. What I think is we have to approach every game, every team, like the most powerful team in the world. If we did that, I think we would be much more focused to defend together, attack together, and more focused to score goals. If we go into every game thinking it is the most important, we will be better. Now, I cannot agree anymore with Raphinha when it comes to this. This is something I've talked a lot about in my post-match live analysis, where I've said the reason why the team is not playing with the same intensity, where they're not as concentrated, as focused, is because they are not treating every club as or every match as an important one. We see the team running in Champions League matches, but jogging in La Liga matches. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that how well the team was doing at the beginning of the season, where the players now think, oh, well, we beat Madrid, we beat Bayern. We're really good. We don't have to try against the smaller teams like Leganés, Las Palmas. Who are those guys? I don't even have to run for that. I just got to jog. And of course, that does not work. In order to win championships, you have to treat every team, every match like it's a Champions League final. That's the only way you can remain consistent. And consistency is, at the end of the day, is what wins trophies. So very, very great interview by Raphinha. Very well said words by Coutinho, the Barcelona captain. And of course, I want to hear you guys' thoughts. What did you think about Flick's pre-match press conference? And what did you think about Coutinho's interview? Let me know down below. And with this, I'm signing off. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. And as always, peace, Barça.